considered easy meat for the bigger teams are not. There's been such progress in the men's game and the women's game from lesser, so-called lesser teams where they have a much smaller population. I remember a few years ago when Roy Hodgson was England manager. I think we got knocked out or beaten by, I think we were knocked out by Iceland. Now, when you think Iceland has a population of, what, 500,000 people? 500,000. So they have a small base to choose their football teams or any other teams from. Now, in England, we have about, what, I think it's probably about 60 million people. So it's a whole different ball game, if you like. But we were still knocked out because football has progressed. I mean, I guess a lot of those Iceland players, would play for some of the higher leagues around the world anyway, which means they know what the standard is like elsewhere. So it's not such a strange thing. But yeah, the smaller teams, they tend each new tournament to have got a heck of a lot better.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, there was a funny incident in the Premier League, wasn't it? Which I think it was two of Everton's player for each other.
Man United, weren't they?
And one of them got sent off. I didn't know that could happen, so I did a bit of a research, and apparently it has been happening, where players on the same team. There was one about Nicholas Bentner and Emmanuel Adebayo. They were both at Arsenal, and they had theirs. Now, more importantly, Manchester United played 70 minutes with Everton, which was a man down, and they still lost to Everton. What do you make of that?
I'm surprised you're laughing, given that Manchester United is your team, cuz.
I know. I'm always.
Did you
laughing.
watch the game? Did you watch the game?
I didn't actually watch the game because it was on Monday night. I can't remember what I was doing, but I didn't get time to watch it. But then I seen the highlights later on, and I looked at the statistics. So the stats were in favor of Manchester United, actually, and the whole stats. So I don't understand how they lost. The only thing that I could think was that I saw Xabi playing number 9. And I thought, we're not going to get a goal. There's no way we're going to get a goal with Xabi at the helm of attack. Now, I don't know what you make of that game.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it myself. I mean, I watched the game it was Monday night, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Monday night.
And it was an interesting game, and it was a good example of a game where a team can lose a player. They go a man down because they've been, or a woman down, because they've been sent off, as in this case. And it is surprising how relatively often that team with the 10 players will win. I don't know whether it is because, I mean, logically or logistically, it shouldn't happen. I mean, 11 players playing 10 at that level of football, the extra player should count. And I guess in most cases it does, but occasionally it doesn't. And I think maybe the 10-player team gets fired up in a way, knowing they all know they've got to put a bit more in to the effort, and they do, because on paper that shouldn't have happened. And let's face it, before the game, I thought it would be a draw. I thought it would be a draw. I thought 2-2. But because I thought Manchester United have picked up a bit lately. We've talked about this, haven't we? So in a way, I was quite surprised to see that they did lose the game. I mean, the incident in question whereby I think the young chap was called Gay, similar to Pellet's Marc Gay name, but it's not the same spelling.
Yeah.
But it was an attack. It wasn't even as if Manchester United scored. They had an attack. And whatever happened, and you could see what happened, but not so much the build up to it. But I think young Gay thought that Michael Keane, who's a much bigger guy than Gay, should not have let the shot come in from the Manchester United player, because he seemed to come up to Michael Keane, who's a much bigger player, and he was really angry, this young fellow. I think he used to play for PSG. I think they got him from PSG. Anyway, he then little slap on the one side of his face, and of course they got all the camera angles, and then it was a slightly harder slap on the other side, and of course at that point you could see, I mean, Michael Keane was just trying to push him away. He's an older professional and he knows what it's about, but he wouldn't have it, this young fella. He just kept at it, and at a point it looked like Michael Keane was going to really retaliate. The goalkeeper, Pickford, stepped in between them. But then the ref instantly came over, Tony Harrington, the ref, put a red card up. And that almost made young Gay worse. He lost it completely. And he was being held by a couple of his own players, and they had to eventually get him off the pitch. I mean, the corollary to that afterwards is he was profusely apologising to the team at half-time and afterwards, when, of course, it's a bit late for that, but better then than not at all, I suppose. Interestingly, some of the pundits, actually the commentator or the co-commentator plus pundits at half-time, including Jamie Carragher, I think, they said they felt the referee could or should have let it calm down on the pitch and just talked to them and not punished it, maybe a yellow card. Now, I don't know what you think about that. And actually, listening to the manager of Everton, David Moyes, afterwards, I suppose having won the game, he wasn't in a bad mood, inevitably, having won an away game at Manchester United. But he actually said something like, no, I quite like it when my players fight, because it shows their passion. Well, I think if they lost, I don't believe he may have had that view. And I can't understand anyone who would say, if he's just saying, yeah, they'd be passionate, argue with each other, but not start physically fighting. So I didn't buy that at all. And for me, I think the ref, he instantly did the red card. He saw what had happened. It wasn't a...